Hi there, this is Ricky and Alex with the TCL-67, and we made the app called CleverCart as our shopping list application. I'm going to go ahead and go navigate over to the app here, and this is our pre-logged in view. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Doop, doop, doop. And as you can see, we have a create list form and a select a list form. I'm going to go ahead and create a list to show you how that functionality works. Create a list. And it redirects us to the add list screen. I already have a couple items here already. I'm going to go ahead and add one more, the add items form here. Add item, and it populates the list down here. If I click on one of these items, it'll be selected, and that shows you that we are planning on purchasing it. We can also filter out some of these items by typing in the item name, so beets, for example, and we'll only see beets in the list. If I clear it out by hitting this button, then we see all the list items once more. I'm going to go ahead and delete one of these, so beets will now be gone, and voila, beets gone. And finally, we have this form here for sharing your list with a fellow Collabby. I'm going to go ahead and share a list with Alex here. And then send list. And Alex, did you get that list?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. So you want to go ahead and send me a list as well?
Yeah. Okay, I just shared a list called fruit.
Okay, so I'm going to navigate back to the home page. Look at my lists, and fruit is there. I'm going to view, and I see all these fruit that we're going to buy together. Um, so that is basically our application. We also implemented a mobile view, so I'll go ahead and show you that as well. And here's what it looks like on mobile for the list form. And then I'll navigate to the home page and show you what that looks like as well. And there you go. So I'm going to have Alex switch screens with me here once I stop presenting, and there you go.
Awesome. I'm going to talk about the design of the app and how we came to it. So first, we all implemented the functionality of the app, and then we collaboratively created wireframes. I asked the team to bring me inspo for different UIs and websites and elements that we liked, and we decided together what we would want to be part of our app. So here on the slide, you can see the plan for the layout of each page for both mobile and desktop views. While we were creating these wireframes, we had to come to a few decisions as we thought out the user flow through the app. We thought a user should be able to do any list functionality while looking at that list. And that's why we decided to combine the Manage List view and the List view. We also added the ability to hide or expand the Add Item form, and we combined the list of lists on the homepage into a dropdown. Now, Jenny is going to talk about testing.
So I will be talking about testing. I know this wasn't technically part of our project requirements. However, one of our mentors really recommended that we get pretty comfortable with testing. So we decided to add unit tests and integration tests to our project. So first I'll go over unit tests. We used unit tests to test our utility functions and helper functions. So for example, here we're testing the normalized input function, which was used to check for validations in our add item form. And so here we just have a couple tests checking to see if even a certain input, the output is as expected. We also wrote integration tests. So integration tests were mostly used to make sure our UI was behaving in the way that we expect. So for example, we wrote some tests for our add item form. Here we're testing to see if if a duplicate item is added, an error gets thrown. Here we're checking to see that if an empty string is added to the input, an error is also thrown. And we're just checking to make sure the errors are appearing in the UI. One other concept that we were introduced to was the idea of test coverage. So here we can see the test coverage for every kind of area of our application. So if we go into components here, we can see all of our components and the test coverage percentage. So with this, we're able to kind of get a read on which areas of our app are well tested and which ones we still need to work on. Okay, so what did we learn? We all came into the project pretty new to testing, so I think it was definitely a great exercise for us to get comfortable with. Since we implemented these tests pretty early on in the project, we kind of saw the benefits immediately. So when we would want to add features to the project or do some refactoring, sometimes we would unintentionally introduce bugs into the project and the test would fail. So we were able to kind of address these bugs immediately. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny.
So
here's our final thoughts and reflections. We have some future features that we thought we'd like to add. First, a dark mode. Then an onboarding tutorial that shows new users how to use the app. It would be great to add more test coverage for integration tests and testing components and how they interact with each other. And finally, a great feature to have would be a way to delete a list instead of just items added to the list.
And for some things that we've learned in this process is that you probably don't need to use a reuse effect. I was often trying to do this to run a function at the initial render of the application, but this ended up doing too many re-renders and affecting the performance of the application. So I ended up getting rid of it. I also learned about the importance of testing. I was given the task of merging the merge list and the list view together into one, and in doing so, I destroyed a whole lot of functionality. And thankfully, the fact that we had tests helped me find the bugs much quicker than I would have otherwise. We also learned about the value of pair programming, because it helps foster good relationships with your fellow developers. You learn tips and tricks that you haven't come across yet very quickly. And you learn how to communicate your thought process as you develop, which is very important, as developing is a team sport, so to speak. Um, uh, we also learned that having 4 people work on CSS styling at the same time is quite difficult. We initially started by having only 2 different CSS files and doing everything from there. But due to all the conflict that we had, we ended up splitting it out to have each CSS file be part of a component. So then it was much easier to work with as a team rather than trying to work from one big file and kind of like stepping on each other's toes to get our styling done. So yeah, that is our application. We are TCL-66, and I'm Ricky, and that's Alex.